Hi, my name is Bruce Hultgren. I invented the BillyBounce basketball programs. My background is I played professional basketball for 8 years in the Australian NBL, and for the past 20 years I've been developing systems and programs to help children aged 5 to 10 years get introduced to the sport of basketball. This message is aimed at park and recreation programs, community centres, YMCAs and basketball associations. We are the world's first fully systemised program for kids aged 5 to 10 years. When I was playing professionally, I realised that there was no one in our league, specifically in our town, that was promoting our game or our team and doing clinics in schools. So I effectively quit my job. I was selling life insurance at the time, hated it, and I started offering my services to local schools. Pretty soon it expanded right across the state, and I found out that I was good at it. People wanted to rebook me straight away, kids were having a great time, and I tried to work out how can I make this systemized? How can I teach someone else how to run these systems and programs that I'm doing? So one night I was out in the middle of country Victoria and sitting in a fast food chain trying to work out the enormity of what I was trying to achieve. How can I get a 16-year-old or 20-year-old or 25-year-old coach who has possibly never coached before to run these systems and deliver it the way I've been delivering it? And I think it was a serendipitous moment, because at that point in time I looked out the back and realised that there was a 16-year-old kid flipping burgers. I purposely went to this restaurant around the world to different locations to see how they achieved it. I watched the systems behind the counter. I watched these people cooking. I even interviewed some of the managers. That's where some of the simplicity of what we teach now comes in. If you want to be a BillyBounce coach, you don't need to be an ex-pro player. You need to have captain personality, and we will teach you the rest. Just like the 16-year-old who couldn't cook before they walked into this fast food chain, we will now teach the systems to get the same consistency and the same outcomes every single time. Today I'm going to share with you a few of the tips and secrets that we do to make this program so good. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share with you a free resource that you can download and give to any one of your coaches that features 20 one-hour coaching sessions and over 80 videos. Part of the realization that I had when I was developing all the systems for the program was that I didn't want the delivery or the system to be reliant on me as a personality or a name or a brand. So I started thinking about a cartoon character who would always be happy, would always have a smile on his face, and kids could relate to, most importantly. So I created BillyBounce. Obviously I looked at all the masters of character development around the world, and as soon as we started developing the BillyBounce character, the reaction from the kids and the teachers and the parents was fantastic. So I knew we were onto something good. In early 2007, I walked into Consumers CSD in Elk Grove in California, just near Sacramento, and showed them the concept. Well, cutting a long story short, they've been running the system and getting consistent results. So we're really proud of that, and now it's time for us to share the model and the systems all across the world. In the next 3 to 5 years, we want to get 10,000 partners to become licensees with us and introduce over 1 million kids a year to the sport of basketball around the world. This program is world class. Everyone has a great time, and people talk about the experience they have with BillyBounce years after the event. A classic example is my son, who's just turned 20. One of his friends was talking about a junior development program he did when he was 5, and it was some bug with an orange head. And my son said, "Oh, that was my dad, that's BillyBounce." And the kid freaked out. The exciting part for me is 15 years later, that child remembers that experience, has a fantastic anchor point for it, and it's all a result of the systems that we did, the people that delivered the program, and the impact that BillyBounce had on that child's life. You can't buy that. It's about creating a life experience and a pathway. We want them to be able to continue this journey long after they finish BillyBounce. And one of the first things we realized was, what happens if all these kids that come through the program say, yes, I want to play? part of our program is getting the parents on the floor from day one in BillyBounce. It takes away that fear of stepping over the sideline. It gets them engaged, and we'll even provide you with a program to give to them so they're not thrown in the deep end and go, here, have fun, here's your team. We provide a simple, easy to follow series of lesson plans that enable a 16-year-old with absolutely no experience in the game at all, or anyone older than 16, to run our sessions. All they simply need to do is turn up with massive amounts of excitement and personality and follow the systems. Run it to the minute, engage the kids, have fun, you'll be a superstar coach. This might sound a little bit corny, but I want to make the world a better place. I want people to talk about how much fun they had at BillyBounce. Our sport does not have a mascot. Well, I'd like BillyBounce to be the mascot. There's a few things that we do in BillyBounce that differentiate us from anyone else on the planet. From walking into the stadium, we have someone right at the very front door high-fiving you and opening the door for you as you walk in. If there's a secondary door, we have someone opening the door for you and high-fiving you on the way in. When was the last time you walked into a stadium and someone high-fived you and welcomed you to the game? It just doesn't happen. We only get one chance to make a first impression, so it's going to be the best one. When the children are in the stadium and when the families are in the stadiums, we want to make that a sanctuary. We don't know where the kids are coming from. They might not be having a great home life. So we need to make the stadium a sanctuary. When they walk in, the outside world doesn't exist. It's that important. That 45 or 50-minute session is an absolute blast. The outside world doesn't exist, and they just have a great time. I can't tell you the amount of times that parents have come up to us and quietly said, "You've changed my child's life. They've now got confidence. They're engaged at school. They're happy with everything that's going on in their world." These are the things that happen that make us do what we do. With our experience in this field, we've tried to address a lot of the challenges that you face. How do you get new families to walk into your centre? How do you get new kids involved? How do you keep them in your programs for long term? A simple catchphrase that we have is, put them into BillyBounce for 8 weeks and you can have them for 8 years. In California, for instance, there's so many families that have come into that program and that centre and said, we've always wondered what happened in here. We've never come in. We never had a reason to come in. And now these brand new families are still coming in 9 years later. We've tried to make this the most comprehensive program that you could possibly imagine. From art files, there's posters, there's certificates, and of course there's the manuals. We have programs for 3 to 5-year-olds. There's 3 8-week programs. For 7 to 10-year-olds, there's 3 8-week programs. Now, the reason that's so important is because if a child loves what they do in the first program, and they say, let's repeat, then the last thing we want to do is say, oh, here's the same program again, boring, boring, boring. What we've designed is the same outcomes, but a completely different experience. So a child can technically repeat 3 times in a row, get 3 completely different experiences, but achieve exactly the same outcomes and get better at the same time. The other things we've done is included over 180 videos of all the drills. They've got instant access to the drill to see what it looks like and how it's supposed to be performed and the spacing on the floor. There's operations manuals. Every single thing that will make this a turnkey program is included. If you're a park and recreation program, a YMCA, a community centre, or a basketball association, we need to talk. We want to work with you to help us introduce 1 million children a year to the sport of basketball around the world. What we'd like you to do now is go to BillyBounce.com and click on the Get Started button. Once you've done that, go to the website now shown on your screen and you can download your free Learn to Coach Hoops program for all of your coaches. This features 20 one-hour coaching sessions and over 80 videos, and it's a gift from us.